Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've got Anna with me today, who is one of my oldest clients, who's done one of my very first courses I ever run. And Anna is here with her amazing transformation. Welcome, Anna.
Hi.
Hello, hello. So the first question, if you could tell us a little bit about your story and why you're looking for help with your thyroid.
So my story started back in 2017 when I came down with flu. And I was really, really unwell for several weeks. And then I just never really recovered. And I had these ongoing symptoms of just horrendous fatigue, which was the first thing that kind of made me go to the doctors and say, there's something not right here, and try and get help. But at that point, they didn't do any testing. I was just told it's post-viral fatigue and sent home and told it'll get better within 6 weeks, and it didn't. So I kept going back and back and back to the doctors. Eventually they did testing and told me that I had high TSH,
Mhm.
but that could potentially be due to having had the flu virus. So they never did any further testing. They just again kind of told me, go home, we'll retest again in a few months' time, see how you're doing. Went back again in a few months, still getting worse and worse symptoms as the time was going on. And eventually we kind of reached this point where they said, right, your TSH is not coming down, we're going to start medicating. There was no mention of antibodies, anything like that. It was literally just TSH. And then eventually they mentioned that the thyroid had become underactive, but
Okay.
no mention of antibodies at that point.
So no Hashimoto's, nothing. They didn't cover that at all.
They didn't mention it, no. Although I believe it had come back in one of the blood tests
Hmm.
that the antibodies were over 1300 at that point, but they didn't mention that to me. So I was just told, underactive thyroid, take this medication, that'll make you better. Um, and it didn't. So
Mhm.
I then had, over the next 4 years, I think it was,
Mhm.
worsening symptoms continually. So I had this crippling fatigue. I mean, the kind of fatigue that you just can't even describe. Just, I would kind of go to work and I would get there early, maybe get there 20 minutes before I was starting work. And I'd think, great, like I've got some time here. I can sleep for just even, in fact, I'd set an alarm because I was so fatigued that if I fell asleep, it was like I was going into a coma and I couldn't wake up. So I would set an alarm so that I still had 5 minutes to get into work and be on time. But I'd spend those 15 minutes desperately just trying to get some sleep to try and get myself through the morning. And then the same again at lunchtime. I'd come out to the car, quickly eat lunch, and then try and sleep the rest of the lunch break so that I had enough energy to get through the afternoon because this fatigue was just incredible. Um, Another one of my main symptoms was brain fog. That was really challenging because honestly, I felt like I was getting dementia. I kept going back to the doctors and saying, there's something not right here. Like I couldn't sometimes have a conversation. I would forget what I was saying. Or in fact, one time I had a job interview when I had this really bad brain fog, and they would ask me the questions. And then by the time they'd asked the questions and I had started answering, I'd forgotten what they'd asked me. So
Funny, but it's not funny, right? But it's like all the funny stories from our past history. It's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what you're saying.
yeah, well, I laugh about it now, but at the time, it was mortifying. And I mean, needless to say, I didn't get the job because I didn't answer any of the questions that they'd asked me. Um, and then added to that, I had these really bad joint pains, which the doctors were testing for things like arthritis. And so at this point, I'm on medication. As far as the doctors are concerned, I should be better. I should be symptom free. There's nothing
Mhm.
else here that would be causing these symptoms.
Yeah.
Um, and so they kind of then start looking down the route of implying, do you even have any symptoms or is this all in your head?
Yeah. Are you making this up? Yes, very, very common, right?
Yeah.
Bit
So
of
it
a
was kind of like,
gaslighting.
is it a mental health problem that you've got here? Because actually looking at be nothing wrong with you and you shouldn't have symptoms. Um, and yes, it carried on like that for about 4 years. And then somebody kind of, one of the GPs dropped into conversation about antibodies that were sky
Uh,
high. And that was the first time I'd heard it. And I was trying to find out, what does this mean? Antibodies for what? And I even asked them, I said, oh, are these antibodies because when I first started getting unwell, I had flu, because I'm thinking, oh, it's antibodies like fighting a virus, antibodies. And they said, yeah. Um,
They said yes.
yeah. So I was just kind of like, oh, well,
Okay.
they don't seem concerned about it. But the more this went on, and I'm thinking, there must be, these antibodies must be doing something, because I'm not getting better from the medication. So I started then at that point Googling and trying to find out more about what is this. Again, went back to the doctors to try and specifically find out about what these antibodies were. And it was just kind of, they said, well, some people with an underactive thyroid have antibodies and some don't, but it amounts to the same thing. You still have an underactive thyroid, so the treatment is the medication. And it was kind of dismissed.
Yeah, which is a great shame, like you have we all, most of us have an entire separate autoimmune condition, and yet it's still treated as just a thyroid problem. It still blows my mind, until this day. And what did you then do? Did you try to fix it somehow? Because there's obviously a lot of information out there about like Hashimoto's diets, autoimmune protocols, going gluten-free, and all of this. Did you try anything before you found me, or were you just like, not gonna work?
Honestly, not really, no, because I think it's the way that we're conditioned, isn't it? That like your doctor knows best. And my doctor's told me that the way to treat this is take this medication every day, and that should be that. So you don't know to question it and to look for anything else. So I didn't try anything else before I found you.
Yeah, because it's such a, like, this is what we should do, right? Our authority figure, the doctor, tells us, reassures us that this is what's going to fix you, and then it just doesn't. Yeah, but then you found me, so you came across my profile on Instagram, or something like that, or website.
What I was doing at the time was, because I'd never heard this word Hashimoto's. I still didn't know anything about that. I just was doing Google searches of underactive thyroid with antibodies. What does this mean? And this word Hashimoto's came up, and I thought, oh, maybe that is what this is. Still didn't know. So then I went onto Instagram and thought, well, somebody must be posting about this, or there must be some information about this somewhere that I can find to see, is this what I've got, and is there a way that I can fix this? And that's when I came across you at that point.
And what did you think? Were you like immediately like, this is it, or were you like, interesting, but is it going to help me?
Well, this is actually probably quite important for other people to know. But what I did was I found you and I booked an initial consultation with you. So we had a chat on Zoom, and I came away thinking, great, like, she's amazing. Obviously knows so much about this subject. You confirmed, because I told you at that point that my antibodies were over 1,300, and you said, yeah, that would be Hashimoto's. I thought, brilliant, really knowledgeable, fantastic that you've got that lived experience of living with it, so you understood the symptoms. And then I did something very stupid, and I went away and just talked myself out of it. And I look back and I just think that was the stupidest thing that I could have done, really, because obviously, as we know, I did eventually join the reboot course, but I could have been 6 months plus further into feeling so much better.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this. So there was this break, right? Where you were like, no, it's maybe it works for other people, but it's not gonna work for me. There's this narrative that so many women have in their heads, including, myself, like it's not gonna work. There are other things that are more important that, I can put my money towards, and that is not, maybe in the future at some point.
Exactly. And also, all of that time you've been to see your GP and they're telling you you shouldn't have symptoms, there's nothing wrong with you. So then you find somebody on Instagram that, albeit seem incredibly knowledgeable, you kind of have this thing in your mind of thinking, but do I just think that because I want to believe that something's going to work? So I'm talking myself into this, and there's no basis for believing that this is going to work. So yes, I didn't proceed with anything that we'd discussed at that point. And then I just stayed the same, really, in exactly the same place, feeling terribly ill, making absolutely no progress, but still watching you on Instagram, and thinking, all of those months, I'm thinking, there's something in this, I'm sure there is, but I just needed a bit more evidence. Also, I felt, but yeah, I mean, looking back now, I wish that I had done something.
I was about to ask, like, what would you say now to that version of you? Like, if you could speak to her, the person that said, no, I'm gonna just wait.
Oh, I mean, what I would say, I just think I regret the fact that had I have acted at that point when I had this feeling of like there's something in this and she's incredibly knowledgeable about this subject, I would have been, I mean, it would have been minimum 6 months, probably more, into feeling so much better, because when I joined Reboot, I felt better instantly. Like within probably the first week, I felt that improvements were being made. And had I have done that earlier,
Yeah, absolutely. For everyone watching, because Reboot is not in existence anymore. So for anyone who's wondering what we are referring to, this was my first ever like an online course that I ran, which was I think 6 weeks or something like that. So it was like a shorter little course without like one-to-one or too much personalization. You basically followed a very simple plan for 6 weeks, and you had such an amazing result from that. So yeah, tell us just a little bit before we move to Bloom and all of that. Tell us a little bit about what benefits did you get from Reboot?
well, like I say, from Reboot, I instantly felt better. Like within literally the first week, I noticed that I just felt less inflamed, and that brain fog that had just crippled me for several years previous, that just lifted a little bit, and just enough to be like, this is working.
Yeah.
And the fatigue, I still had the fatigue. It wasn't like within the first week it was all gone,
Yes.
but there was just, I could notice changes, that I wasn't quite as exhausted, I wasn't quite as inflamed, and it was incredible. That course was just mind-blowing to me at that time, that I'd been so stupid to put off doing it also, quite frankly.
And you know what? I think I told you this, that I was clearing up basically doing stuff on my computer and clearing up some files, making space basically. And I came across recordings from that course. And like you look like a different person. I don't know if I can send you, I don't have it anymore, but I wish I could send you a screenshot of that. Like you honestly, your face and the way you were just saw such a huge change. Like there is, given like a little bit of puffiness, and just feel like I could tell that especially in the early calls, that you really felt, tired and fatigued and all of that. And then like fast forward to now, I see completely different Anna, and that is just amazing.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely some incredible changes from that course.
yeah,
Really
absolutely.
amazing.
And interestingly, actually, when I think about it now, because it was the foundation of Bloom. So I took the structure. It was obviously way shorter, way more focused on the food and diet side of things. But the basic structure I took from that, and I still teach similar principles inside of Bloom. So let's talk about Bloom now. So you've obviously done Reboot with me. You've done some other short courses, but you felt that that you wanted to go deeper, right? Because Bloom is all about really addressing the deeper thyroid root causes, deeper thyroid terrain, really looking beyond just the diet. We still work with food and the nutrition, but it's a very different scope. So what attracted you to Bloom, and what expectations did you have of the program?
Well, I think my main reason for joining Bloom was that although my antibodies had decreased immensely from when I very first found you and started working with you, I seemed to have reached a point where I got stuck at about 450, 400-ish. And I couldn't quite get them down beyond that. And so I sort of thought, there's part of the puzzle that I'm missing here. And so I really wanted to join Bloom to do with that, because I still had like some residual symptoms of fatigue, nothing like what it had been previous. Bit of brain fog, again, nothing like previous. And I just wanted to work on those things. And I suppose what really surprised me actually about Bloom was that I had initially thought when I joined that those changes would come about from further nutrition guidance. And actually, I think that the course as a whole, and probably for me particularly, the nervous system regulation was a part that I never really knew that I needed until we did it within Bloom. And I think actually probably that's one of the main things that has made the massive changes for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is I talk about it all the time, but that's really the missing piece of the puzzle for so many of us, including myself, because I was also refusing to accept that this has anything to do with my thyroid and my Hashimoto's. But I know that especially the antibodies, they just don't have any chance of really coming down when we are stuck in that survival mode. So yes, absolutely. So what were your first impression when you first joined? Because it's a very different way of working together compared to Reboot, right? Obviously, there's way more personalization. There are hot seats. There is a very tightly knit community. What were the first thoughts when you joined?
Um, Probably one of my first impressions was that the pace of the
Mhm.
course was not overwhelming to me, um, because it's kind of done in such a way that it's very, I found it very respectful of the fact that the people within the course obviously have these health conditions where we are kind of low on energy, and a
Mhm.
lot of people are low on time as well, aren't they? And I felt like the course had been made very specifically for people
Yeah.
struggling with those symptoms, so the pace wasn't like at such a speed that you can't keep up with it. It's very
Mhm.
much do it at your own pace, which I thought was incredible and really helpful for me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying that. That is something that obviously is on my mind, but I'm glad to hear that it's, that you really feel that. And yeah, I think that also the benefit of Bloom is that we do obviously with the curriculum, you keep access to it for life, right? So you can always revisit, you can do bits of it, or, in the future or repeat some parts. So yes, absolutely. And what were the most enjoyable parts? What did you enjoy mostly?
I instantly loved the community in
Hmm.
Bloom, which that really surprised me.
Mm.
Um, I didn't expect to love that as much as I did, because I'd kind of just thought, that your journey towards becoming well sometimes feels like quite an individual one,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
maybe everyone's at different stages, and so sometimes you just feel like this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and it doesn't really involve other people as such. But I loved the community, because I think as well, like when you have Hashimoto's, other people don't understand what it's like, so they don't understand the symptoms, and equally they don't understand that when you're getting better or you have wins and things that have improved through the weeks of doing the course, it doesn't mean anything to them. So you
Yeah.
could be talking to friends, family members, whoever,
Mhm. Yeah.
and saying, oh, this week I've got considerably more energy, or my antibodies have come down, and it doesn't mean anything to them. So to them,
No.
they don't understand what a massive win that is. Where like with people in the Bloom community, everyone is rooting for each other so much that you put a little message on the app and everyone is straight in to be like, oh, that's amazing, I'm so happy for you. And it's such a boost to keep going with the course and putting all the things in place, because you're seeing it in yourself that you're feeling better, but you've
Yeah.
also got like this amazing group of people that are like, go you.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
no,
just incredible.
it is, and it's amazing because there's always this perfect group of women that come together, and they're just perfect like cheerleaders for each other. And I find it really interesting because almost everyone when they join Bloom, they tell me how they're introverted, or if not introverted, they just don't really, they're not a group person. And then within literally days, they turn into a group person. They see the immense benefit, and I honestly, like I say it all the time, but I really feel like at least 50% of the healing that happens in Bloom comes from the community and feeling supported and understood and heard. Yeah, absolutely priceless. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Were there any parts that were a little bit more challenging?
I wouldn't say that I found any parts of the course itself challenging. I think probably the things that are on your mind before starting Bloom, before
Yeah.
joining Bloom, is obviously you're thinking that the cost is a bit of a consideration or a bit of maybe a challenge. Um, However, the way that I kind of would look at that now is that, yes, it is a cost to join the course. However, having Hashimoto's, that also in itself is a massive cost. Yes, not in monetary terms,
Yeah.
but it's costing you so much in terms of, being around your family and not being able to be present because you're too tired and you're too exhausted and the brain fog is too bad. That's a cost. Or that thing that you wanted to do with your friends at the weekend, but you can't do because you're too tired, or you need to
Yeah.
conserve your energy to be able to go to work. That's a cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they're not in a monetary sense, but you're already paying for it in terms of
Mhm.
health and joy within life, aren't you? Really. Um, so the monetary aspect of Bloom
Mhm.
and the way that I looked at it and look at it is that it is an investment rather than it being a cost that
Uh-huh. Yeah.
of something that you can't ever get back. It is an
Mhm.
investment in yourself and in your own health that you're going to feel better and you're going to get those parts of your life back that you haven't had for so long because you've been so unwell. It's
Yeah.
like the best investment that you could make in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's the highest return on investment really, because it will enrich like every single area of your life, and it's very interesting because I always talk about my prices as investments, and I always have to explain it, and you just put it perfectly. It's literally that, like, what is a better place to really put our money, right? If we can get so much back, so much of ourselves back, and that is, that is absolutely priceless. All right, okay, so tell us, how are you doing today? How you feeling, all this like time of like dedicating time to this process, but obviously, living your life and doing things. And yeah, how are you doing today?
I am amazing. Um, I mean, I genuinely feel better now I'm 37 now. I feel better now than what I did in my like late 20s, early 30s, because I just spent so much of that time just being unwell. And then having worked with you and specifically done Bloom, um, the difference is just incredible. And I just feel like a normal person, which I never thought I would get back to that point in life where I just feel normal. And I don't have to do this kind of crazy energy planning thing where you're just constantly like, well, can I do that? Because am I going to really severely crash at the end of having done that thing that I really want to do? Like, just being able to just do things is,
Yeah,
is something that so many people don't understand.
yeah.
But it's the most incredible thing is just to be able to live life and do the
Mhm.
things you want to do
Yeah.
without making yourself unwell or exhausted or whatever. It's just, yeah, I'm so well.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Like, your story is absolutely wonderful, and it's a testament of the work that you've put in. Like, let's not talk about this. Like, obviously, my guidance bloom is one thing, but also you have really prioritized this journey, and like, committed to it, and it shows. And also your antibodies have gone down, right? So now we're on like over 100, or something like that.
144.
Amazing, which is coming from, 1,300 or more, whatever it was. That is very, very, very close to remission. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing. Oh my God. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about joining Bloom? So, there are so many women, like you said, you're watching this, sitting there, kind of, tempted by Bloom, but thinking, oh, is it going to work for me? Is it something that I should commit to? What would you say to them?
I would say 100% do it. Don't make the same mistake that I made, which is, looking at it and being like, that would be great for me, and kind of talking yourself out of it in the end,
Mm.
because it is the best investment that you can make. We always kind of have, I think as women, we always have this thing, don't we, of like, we don't want to invest in ourselves because we're always trying to fix things for everybody else. And somehow we feel like we're not worthy of putting that attention on ourselves. But you are worthy of being well and feeling better, and you can achieve it, which, the me of 2017 would never have believed that I could be as well now as what I just would not have believed it. But following the course is like Bloom is incredible. It is just incredible at being able to give you your life back and know that you have this confidence to take healing into your own hands. Like, you don't have to put your faith in the GP that is just telling you take this medication and that will make you better. Like, you are so capable of healing yourself, and the way to do that is just to do the Bloom program because it's amazing. And I can't really say any more than that. It's just
This
incredible.
was like beautiful, and I am kind of semi crying here. It's been such an honor to witness this. Like, I have to say this. Like, I always mention you to clients who are like prospective clients thinking about joining, and I think you've it's just such an inspiration. And again, thank you so much for joining me today, because I know this wasn't something easy for you, but doing it, for those women, I think it's just such a great opportunity to just give a little bit of that hope and inspiration. So thank you, and yes, thank you for being a part of my universe. And you're still in it. So you're in the resilience membership, currently working on the nervous system. So our journey continues, and yeah, let's see what the future got in store for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. And also, yes, while we're talking about the thyroid resilience, um, I mean, obviously that is a separate thing to Bloom, but the thyroid the nervous system regulation is also part of Bloom, and that is just while we're here, I just feel like that is something.
Yeah, no, go ahead, because it's something that's quite new. It's like a new thing that we've been doing, and actually, everyone who joins Bloom will get access to TRC for the duration of Bloom. So it's very much relevant. So please do share what are your impressions, because we've been doing this for like 2 months now. And TRC has been running.
Yes. And also even the nervous system regulation within Bloom, and then building on that through the thyroid resilience. I mean, I would honestly recommend that to anybody, because joining Bloom, really, that wasn't necessarily something that I thought that I had a problem with. I kind of thought that the main issue maybe was nutrition and a few different changes that needed to be made. I never really thought anything about the nervous system regulation, but that has been such a massive thing for me, and I feel that that has really contributed to me being as well as I am now. And I think it's helped to lower my antibodies, possibly more so than some of the things that I thought would be the ones to help with that. And I think what I have really loved about the nervous system regulation part of things is that it's not just a one size fits all type thing. Because I think when you think about it, you kind of imagine that nervous system regulation is literally going to be like a close your eyes and breathe type thing. And it really isn't that.
No.
I mean, as you know, like that side of things never really worked for me. But the fact was that it didn't matter, and it doesn't matter, because there's so many other things that you can do, that there is something that works for absolutely everybody. And it's really just incredible. It's been such a help to me, and definitely something that I would say get involved with, because it's amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, it's been for me as well, you know that as well. But it's been such a game changer, and it really is for people who hate meditating, or people who think that breath work doesn't work for them, because it's not about that. It's not just about blindly doing something that following a meditation on some inside timer and thinking it's just really not working. It's about like understanding your body, right? And how we've got all those resources within us, and we don't need an audio file to show us how to do it. We can just find it within us, which is, I think, a very powerful realization. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. Lovely to speak to you. Thank you again for coming and sharing all of this with everyone. And yes, from the bottom of my heart, I honestly wish you all the best with all your plans going forward. And yes, I hope we obviously stay in touch and keep working together in one way or another.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good day. Bye.